Dude, let's go. All right, all right. I think we're on air. I think we're live. Normally we got a little
Live.
little soft
We're
shoe
live.
intro. But yeah, Lydia
No,
and
no, no soft shoe today. We're right in.
or jumping on into it. We'll get hopefully Lydia here on the other side and we'll get some slides. If not, we're freewheeling this whole thing. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
who needs
So
slides, dude?
look
That's
at
like,
Sam's really nice like name on his head. Yeah, all right. We got this. We got this. Everybody's all looking fancy today. I see everybody piling on in here. So welcome back to what is this? Day three. We've got the legends, Kayla and Brittany Auman. You know them, you love them. If you haven't seen or heard from them, you're probably living under a rock. So very excited about having these guys in here today. We're gonna queue up the Granum slide here in just a quick second, but we're excited to have all of you guys here today. Let's see. The first day we asked roll call, where was everybody joining in? Give me the temperature, give me the city. Yesterday, what was it? We asked coffee or if you were an energy drink user, right? So one of those deals, and
coffee
weirdly,
or
it was
was
like
it coffee or energy?
97%
Yeah.
coffee. Yeah, I was like weirdly 97% coffee. So we need to do like an age gap poll. Today, let me ask you this: who's excited about this? Are you guys more excited about a Friday in your business, or are you more excited about a Monday in your business? Let me ask you that. That'll be the real test of my diehard killers out there. So you're more excited about a Monday or a Friday? And look, like depends on the week, you know what I'm saying?
What
So we
about
got
the
a little bit.
people that what about the people that work 7 days?
Oh, touche.
They're out there. They're out there.
They're
They
we're looking
are.
for the non-rain day at that point. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of Fridays, Fridays, and by the way, TGIF, the grind includes Friday, right? So I like when folks are like, "Yeah, I'm just not available on Friday." I'm like, "All right, bro. All right, we'll catch you next year." So, all right. That being said, we're excited about this. We're doing day three operator week for all of you guys that are joining in. We're checking the oil on the business. We're 6 months into the season. We're about 10 weeks into the spring rush for a lot of folks. First couple of jobs have been getting completed. First couple of rounds of mowing have been completed. So it's a good little check the pulse, keep it alive kind of conversation today. If you guys don't know Kayla and Brittany, you guys are going to be really honored to have them on here today. They've got a jam in business. They did a double, right, in the last 2 years. So that's exciting. And they've got a lot of great things going on. And one of the things I do truly appreciate about Caleb and Brittany, we're good friends with these guys behind the scenes. They are very honest folks. So there's no horse and pony show here today. They're very candid. You know, we've had good years, we've had bad years. And they've got a great story. Some of you guys might already know their story a little bit because of their Kid Contractor podcast, their Hardscape Academy. We'll get into more of that here as we go. Let's recap where we're at so far for the week. Sam, you can help me out with this, but day one, I'll let you take it away. Recap. What did we learn so far with day one and day two?
Yeah, seriously. We're everything from knowing your numbers and creating the budget and creating the items that what it takes to run a successful business day to day. But then day two with Mike Arnold, so we had Pat Murray day one, talk about drinking out of a fire hose, right? And then day two, yeah, Mike just kind of giving us the tangible like macro and micros of the day-to-day stuff in action. Actually, I think we could take that back. I would say Patrick like literally got down in the weeds with more of the micro, and then it was cool to have Mike's perspective where it was more of the overview, kind of 10,000 foot view of day-to-day budgets and being on both ends of the spectrum from back in the day, which we've all some of us have lived those days of the non-profitable, horrible cash days and all that, and just kind of hearing all that in action. And then today, I think this is going to be pretty cool because we're going to talk about like even though this wasn't the premise of this webinar, but I think we're going to flip it on its back and talk about how when you build a great brand, when you've got a credible company, when you've got the budget so you can see it in action, how you can make more money per man hour doing really the same services with excellence that other hundreds and thousands of other companies are doing. So super excited to bring Brittany and Caleb into the journey for today. It's a good way. It's been a good setup for them, I think. So
Yeah, that's code for Brittany. It's been going great. Don't blow it, right?
yeah.
But all right, let's do this. We recap day one, two, and three. And again, like dollars and cents, talking about making money here today. A little housekeeping here. I really do appreciate when folks set the ground rules here. Listen, the Q&A, there's a whole separate chat. We have a lot of questions that we've taken from you guys the last couple of days. Throw those in the Q&A chat so we can make sure to keep track of those. It's different than like the main chat and conversation. Of course, feel free to chime in on the main chat. We love seeing the interaction and the engagement with you guys. If you have some funny jokes or funny stories, I know yesterday we were sharing about a lot of resources and technology out there at some different points. So what's working out there? Like let us know in the chat. We love hearing it. If you have a specific question though for Caleb and Brittany today, throw it in the Q&A chat. It's a different portion of the LMN or the Zoom webinar screen. That being said, we are going to get you guys the replay. I already saw a couple questions of that here earlier. We're going to get you guys the replay all week, including the slides. So no worries. Maybe you guys are at the gym, maybe you're driving, maybe you're on the way to a conference or an event or on an airplane. Like, look, we get it. We're with you. We're going to get you those slides. So don't feel like you got to cut the blades off on the mower to take a quick note with what the Aumans here shared today.
So good.
Yeah,
Yep.
so let's just real quick. We'll take it from the top. My background really quick. If you guys don't know, maybe you're just joining on for the first time today. Brian Fullerton, Brian's Law Maintenance. We do a lot of mowing, a lot of snow. We're over here in the Metro Detroit area. Jam in business. Things are going as good as they ever have. I got a wood desk here, so knock on wood. Very honored and grateful and thankful to be able to host with you guys here today. I love the green industry. It's all I know. I don't really get out of my lane. We want to talk lawn, talk snow, and talk knowing your numbers. This is what I eat, sleep, and breathe. And I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to this stuff. And again, I just love making friends in the industry. Sam, I've got to befriend Sam about 3 or 4 years ago through a shop tour series that we did with some social media. And we've been besties ever since, and hosting the Break Records tour and a bunch of other great stuff. Sam, I know you've got an incredible rap sheet being a good thing. So let these guys know your background, and then we'll get to Brittany and Caleb.
A little bit about Sam I am. Yesterday was actually our 15-year anniversary for Atlas Outdoor, founded from the driveway in 2011, kind of a little bit of the highlight reel. The business started from nothing. Just like most people on this webinar, kind of came from the same background, grew up super humble beginnings in the city of Flint. And yeah, started Atlas in 2011, grew to $1 million, our second year in business. Grew about $1 million a year in every different aspect between design, build, maintenance, and snow. Fast forward to today, we used to be about a third. We've since scaled back on the design build just because we found that making tall grass short and slippery parking lots not slippery is more of our niche. But about, give or take, about 20% of our revenue is design build. So we do build some pretty cool outdoor living spaces. And we've got about 110 team members year-round, 2 locations. Fun fact for everybody out there that's wondering, yes, my business and Brian Fullerton's business are like literally a mile apart from each other, and we've never competed with each other. So I know everybody thinks, how did they do that? Very easily. Like literally, it's a great relationship, and we've got I'm bidding on something. Brian, is this yours? Nope. Sam, is this yours? Nope. Let's go get it.
That's right.
It's
That's
Troy's.
right.
Let's get it. It's Troy. Let's go after it.
We didn't say that, but they're getting a folder from green, red, or pink. You know what I'm saying? So
That's funny. Green, red, or pink. There you go. That's great. So good.
awesome. Well, folks, let's jump into Caleb and Brittany. Excited about having them on today. And look, we could josh all day long. I'll tell you what, like they have a great business. They're super humble. Brittany will tell you everything they're doing right. Caleb will tell you everything they're doing wrong. That's just how they are. But listen, like they should be more proud of who they are and what they're doing. And they're getting over that imposter syndrome like all of us the last couple of years. And that's why you guys have been seeing them on the circuit. Okay. So without further ado, Caleb and Brittany, Brittany, I'll give it to you. You're our headliner today, and I'll let you guys maybe give a little bit more of your background and fill in some of those details.
Yeah, so thank you guys. Caleb and Brittany Auman, we're out of Fairfield County, Ohio, which is just 30 minutes south of Columbus. Over the years, you'll find out in the presentation, we've limited the services that we're offering. Right now, we're primarily design build, probably 10% stormwater, commercial stormwater management, residential stormwater. And that's about it. No maintenance, no mowing, no snow. Brian keeps trying to talk us into snow, but you won't.
Boring. What the heck? What do you guys do all day? Jeez.
They count their Benjis. They count the Benjamins all winter.
Off. So we our business is our life by design. So we build our business around the lifestyle that we want, and we want the winters off. So
Sam, can you imagine making so much money for 8 months that you just don't have to work for 4 months? Like
we're gonna learn. We are about to learn today, boy. We're gonna learn today.
We're gonna see how the other side lives. It works.
Back end of it, Caleb started the company out of high school, or while he was still in high school. Built that for a while. You've heard the story before. He crashed it, or listened to a podcast or something about it, but he crashed the company. We pretty much started and revamped it back up in 2009. It's been a slow grind since 2009 to really get our heads out of our butts and focus on, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but really focusing on developing ourselves, because that's what's pushed us to this $270 an hour.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer. You
It's a
grow
long
yourself
story.
first, everything else will fall into place. So it makes perfect sense.
Caleb, any want to give any extra words or clean up the record
He
while
was
we're at
taking he was taking a nap. Caleb,
Oh
Caleb.
man, that sounds wonderful. But yeah, I think the big thing too is we really work about 10 months a year. So we really strive to keep going for about 10 and a half if the weather's good. And as everyone knows, Brittany said, take the winters off. Everyone knows there's never nothing to do, right? So there's all sorts of stuff needs fixed. And this year rather, I'm being really intentional about deferring work to the winter. Those 6 weeks we generally don't work, and trying to line up stuff that even if it just covers overhead for the month, I've been deferring some work, which is the first time I've really been this intentional about it. So we can talk about that some more down the road here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, well, let's do this really quick. Kimberly, if you guys don't mind, maybe bring the mic just a little bit closer, a couple
I was just
suggestions
gonna
on that.
say, I was waiting for some downtime to say it. Yeah, you guys are super quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Is that better?
Oh, that's
Way
better.
better.
well,
Way
they were
better.
muted earlier? Okay, we had some sort of
Okay.
disconnect here. Okay, cool. Sorry.
That's fantastic. We appreciate that. By the way, QR code, go figure. On Brittany's page scans to Patrick Murray, so that's funny. So we'll
Good
do our
work.
best.
Shout out to
Awesome.
Pat Murray,
Seems
baby.
Listen, we're all doing our best here. We're all landscapers, right? Not the corporate tech folks. So
I always like to say I can sell, I can't spell. So
folks, you gotta start taking
That's
notes. That's
pretty
a good
good,
one.
Sam.
That's a good one. All right, let's do this. Like we talked about, day one, Pat got in the weeds with prod rates. Day two, Mike was talking about ops. Day three, we're going to talk about really dialing in our numbers and really becoming very, very profitable today. We got a little poll up here today. And again, we're talking whether it's maintenance or design build, of course, but you should be doing an autopsy, not an archaeology, right, Sam?
yes, it's so good, dude. I can't get the visual out of my head.
Coin that one because that we're going to use that and run it back for the rest of our career. But let's do a little poll here. What do you guys currently do after a job closes? We've got run a formal debrief. We review job cost reports, but no formal debrief. Invoice, move on to the next job, or we look back at the end of the season, not job by job. Let's answer that really quick.
I'm a da na 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 na.
Let's see.
Sam,
Let's
the best
see.
game show host.
Na 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 na.
Sam is. Let's see what we got here, folks.
What do we got? Oh, here we go.
Sam, you want to read it off? What do we got, brother?
We got about nine people that voted that says they run an actual formal debrief. Well done. I'd love to learn more about what you guys talk about during that. 21 that says we review our job cost reports, but no formal debrief. I would encourage you to share those results with your team. 3, we invoice and move our butts on right to the next job. Ain't nobody got time to look at those reports is what it should say. And we look back at the end of the season, not job by job. And man, my question for you, the 3 of you that said that, imagine if your college football team played an entire season with the scoreboard off, and then at the end of the season turned it on and said, oh, would you look at that? We actually did win one game. And so I would encourage you to that would never happen, by the way. So I would encourage you to don't wait till you got to do archaeology to see how you did to move forward. So good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. Well, we'll jump on into it here. We'll do next slide. So elephant in the room, Caleb and Brittany have really dialed in a lot of great systems and processes through Auman Landscape the last couple of years. And again, they're super humble, but I know I listen to their podcast regularly. They've got a lot of great stuff going on. Brittany and Caleb, you guys have, went to a lot of Element events and seminars. In fact, I got started with the platform because Caleb, thank Jesus, invited me to go to an Element mastermind that Mark Bradley was hosting back in the day. So I hope you guys got your 1% on that. But nonetheless, I'm very grateful that I was like, Caleb, it's for mowing, or it's for hardscape guys. He's like, no, doofus, it's for anybody who's trying to be profitable and run a big business. And you're talking about you want to grow. And I'm like, yeah, I actually have no idea what I'm talking about. Thanks for the invite. And sincerely, I'll always tip my hat to these guys. They're just big servers in that regard. That being said, they grew a great business the last couple of years, and we're gonna kind of dial some of that in. Brittany, I'm gonna let you go through this exercise. This isn't the first time you've seen a slide like this, right? And so now it's fun for you to not only consume it, but now you get to teach it. And so maybe this might have even been Auman Landscape just a couple of years ago, right? So I'll let you guys
For real,
speak.
though.
Yeah, go ahead, take it away.
I mean, okay, so a lot of, I know the title of the webinar was $270 a man hour, right? That number sticks out. Sam asked me about it when we were kind of debriefing here. And most people assume that we just kept increasing our prices, but that's not at all how it worked. Yes, we've increased our prices year over year as the market allows, and we've done market adjustments for those types of things. But there's so much more behind that $270 an hour, whether it's just becoming more efficient in the morning, loading and unloading, whether it's narrowing down our scopes of work and doing things that we're really good at and subbing out things that we really don't have any business doing. The difference is right now what we're learning each job. So that's what we're going to keep talking about here. But how we look at a job now is we tear it apart when we're done. We tear it apart during the project. We're asking the guys every day, what's not working today? What is working? What can we do on the next job? And so there's becoming what's gotten us to the $270 an hour is actually accountability within the company. Accountability from us to each other, doing what we say we're going to do, doing the things that we say, doing the things that we're taught in all of these conferences and webinars, and then relaying that to the team and giving constant feedback. I know in the poll just a second ago, somebody said that they do the job costing, but they don't actually talk about it or do anything with it. That's the next step that will get you to that 18% of that top. I think 18% of the people actually do a full debrief. Mm-hmm. So actually relaying that and creating that accountability is what's going to do it. $270 has never been the goal. Based on our LMN budget, I think our budget's set for $220 in revenue per hour. And
that year.
Yeah, last year. So $270 is last year's. But the $220 is what we were aiming for. And it's not like we were bidding to that, it just showed up. So revenue per hour, for those who don't know, maybe for those who aren't part of the LMN system, when we signed up for LMN, I had no idea what RPH was. Mark Bradley kept trying to tell me, all the nice people at LMN kept trying to explain to it. I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm just bidding, guys. Like that number is beyond me.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest about it.
But that's how it started, right? And the amount of things I knew before LMN versus what I know now is what's allowed us to grow the business to where it is today. Mm-hmm. And it's what's going to allow us to continue growing because we have actual numbers that we can hold ourselves accountable to. But RPH, back to that point, is like your gross revenue on a job. So say you sold a job for $5,000 and then say you had 100 man hours in it. Like you're just dividing those two. You're dividing your revenue by your man hours, and that's your RPH.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Look, I want to go back pre-LMN to current users of LMN, and this isn't necessarily like an LMN pitch. This is more of you guys are in the same industry. You guys are still putting on the same product, right? But you just built a better system. Can you elaborate a little bit more about how you guys were doing jobs before and how you guys are doing jobs now?
Yeah. So a lot of it was. So, you want to talk like pre-LMN? Or like in the beginning when we started using LMN.
Well, I don't think we had all the time to go that far back.
There's so many different, there's a lot of different phases. We call them phases of Auman landscape.
Sure.
But just, I would say even just 4 years ago, mm-hmm. we would bid the job. We'd set our budget for the year, probably in like February or March, maybe finalize it in April. Half of our work's already bid out by then, so we missed out on whatever revenue dollars we were going to charge. Then we just start doing the work. There was no job costing. We were just plugging through the work. Nobody had time to job cost. Nobody had time to pre-order materials. Materials were arriving late. If they were on time, we had too much there, and we were having to shuffle and juggle things around. We were handling things multiple times. It was just so inefficient. Mm-hmm. And slowly, Caleb would start documenting what's going right, we can't do this anymore, guys. Our production, he has a whole production rate folder that he kept keeping, and it had like the weather on it, what guys were there, what foreman was there, if we had new guys, if we had just like side help or labor. And we really started to develop these production rates that we eventually got into LMN. And so there's like the pre-company of lots of hopes and prayers, and just thankfully we didn't go bankrupt in that time period. And then there's now, and I can tell you to the penny where we're at for the year, and that's with the help of a lot of different things.
Was there like, sorry to jump in, Brian, was there like a specific like aha moment where you just said to yourselves, like, we have to do something different? Like, we're working our butts off way too hard for the money that we're making. Like, I always ask that. I humbly said, I get reached out to all the time with people that are just like at that breaking point and they're just kind of holding their hands up, asking for help. And I always say, like, hey, this morning or whenever it was that you sent me this email, like, what was going on that you finally said, hey, I need to get some help on this? Was there like a pivotal moment for you guys where that something like that happened?
I think there was a couple like key pivotal things, and they go farther back. Of we were tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and so we were tired of running a company that wasn't profitable, right? And so Britt was looking around and found LMN like forever ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like kind of a pivotal moment, right? It dovetails well into our whole topic here today, right? And then I think we kind of I think about this all the time of if there was, I mean, that was kind of a key moment. And then coming out of like when I bankrupted my first company of like, I don't ever want to be this broke and poor and stupid again. And that was so we just kind of entered this arc of, like you said earlier, Sam, like working on ourselves, like personal
Mm-hmm.
development is like the most important thing. And really that's ratcheted up in like the last 4 years to
I was
understand
going
what
to say
important it is.
you're hearing a lot more about that even in our industry. Like that's
Thank the
like
Lord.
these business seminars are great, but we need more like grow yourself personally and leadership seminars because like I mean there's all the business books in the world are out there. What about the personal growth and development that like that's the thing is it's actually easier to lead others than it is to lead ourselves. So that tends to be the case for burnout because we're pouring from an empty cup.
Mm.
Right.
Y-
And
Go
like
ahead.
we just had what we were doing before was putting random numbers. All of our budget in LMN was based off of emotion. It was like, yeah, it'd be cool
Hmm.
to do $1 million. And yeah, if we do $1 million, we'll probably have like 40% materials, maybe. I don't know.
Probably,
Like,
I
I
think.
mean, like it sounds good. And then at the end of the year, you find out you were like 60% material. So like everything was just emotional.
Yep.
It was just on feel. And as you know, like guys, that's not sustainable. You can't continue doing, you can't grow a company on that. Like
Hmm.
we had an install job, we've had a few, but there was one specific one. We went over 158% on hours. So
That was
LMN
last week
crew,
for us. Job we did just last week. No, we did. Yeah, I'm kidding.
yeah.
We had
I
one
mean,
go awry a couple weeks, or
Yeah,
actually
we all,
2
we
weeks
all
ago,
do.
same.
that little dashboard, like when it's read over and over and over and over again, is poor management, right? Like you can only blame so much. You really can't blame the team for anything. Everything is our fault. Whether we didn't equip them right, whether they didn't have a good plan, they didn't have the right materials, whatever it is. The worst part is knowing, in this case, the worst part is knowing what you need to do and just simply not doing it. You're paying
Mm.
tuition for the same lesson over and over and over again until you decide to take action on these things.
I just want to chime in because this is a fun conversation. Stephen Bennett, he's with the customer experience team with Element. He was just texting me because he's probably trying to break my focus here. And he literally texted me. He said, "I remember the look on your face when we were doing a Zoom because he was helping me with my account on Element." And he's like, "When you learned what revenue per hour was in production rates, we're talking like less than 12 to 24 months ago." And
Mhm.
it's literally insane. And I always joshed with Caleb and Brittany. I said, and we have a great friendship. And I said, like, why were you guys withholding this information from me for so long? And Caleb's like, hey, listen, doofus, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink.
True.
And I was like, and so I just want to say there's kind of sometimes like two conversations going on with these is like number one, you just don't know what you don't know. And
Right.
if you don't have software, pick your brand. Obviously, Element's what we're all drinking the Kool-Aid on, and it's helped us. But you really got to dial it in. But if you don't know these conversations, get involved. And if you do have something like an element or the software you're using, you can't just say like check the box. Like you
Yep.
really have to learn business. And I think that's some of the conversation you and Caleb were just talking about, Brittany, the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
exactly. So
Brittany,
if
when
Brian,
you and
hey, if
actually,
Brian can do it, you guys can do it.
Caleb, I want to hit you real quick here. I know we're getting on moving in these slides, but Caleb, when you first started tracking your revenue per hour, where were you at?
Ooh.
Pre-software, like I actually am turning on something to start looking at this. What was the number you were at?
I don't even prior to like Element and all that and tracking all.
Soon as you started tracking,
I don't think I don't. We didn't know. We didn't have a
Like,
clue. RPH was not a thing. It was. Especially in those days, it was, do we have enough to eat tonight, and can we make
yep.
payroll and those kind of things, right? We weren't tracking that stuff. And you know, you asked about the pivotal moment thing. I think about this question all the time. And, you know, we had a few pivotal moments, but really it's just been this slow. Once we started realizing that there's just more to business and we decided to become business people and not landscapers, not just hardscapers, like that's one of the big things. I think we decided to become actually business people instead of, you know, a hardscaper or a landscaper or whatever. That's where we just started the trajectory of just upward learning all the time was like the key thing. It was just from there, just micro epiphanies, I think. Here in Mike Lasecki, I think, is who finally really beat it into my head about RPH and how important that was. And we'll get to like what really drives RPH here, I think, in a little bit. But I think about those questions all the time. But it's just a continual upward process. You're just always learning new things that apply to your business and how to implement them. Because we decided to be business people first.
I don't want to jump ahead too far in the slides, but thinking about when we were doing the intro, you guys, you have a very limited service offering, very limited revenue stream. It's like, hey, pick what you're good at and run with it. When you first started, when you had that moment where you're like, wow, I got to do something different, what was the first thing that you guys changed? Like, did you realize that it needed to be your pricing? Did you just raise prices then? Was it how you were estimating, or was it the service offering? Like what? And the reason I asked that is I think because, you know, we talk about this a lot at the end of these seminars where people just feel like they're so far gone. They don't know, like, man, I'm too far in the weeds. I don't really know where to start. So like if it was just a matter of going, boop, I'm raising my prices 25%. We don't even need these webinars. Just go raise your prices and sell more work. But we know it's not that easy, right? So for you guys, what was the first thing that you guys did that probably was the easiest thing to do at the time? So that was the path of least resistance.
I'll give you my version of this, I guess. And this, again, no joke, because Element has legit changed our lives. When we started putting proposals together with Element, we were putting numbers out with confidence, knowing what we put into Element and our budget and all that kind of stuff. The first thing that literally changed for us was sending an estimate out, knowing with confidence, this is what we say we need to pay bills and to pay overhead and to pay ourselves even. And then on those jobs where I lacked so much confidence back in the day of, well, I'm chopping myself out at the knees because I'm going to knock, you know, way too many profit points off of this job, too much profit percentage off this job to win it or to serve a repeat client, kind of that kind of nonsense. But I knew though that like I knew what I was doing to myself instead of, hey, can you do this for, you know, $2,500 instead of 3,000, right? I knew what I was doing. And so bidding with confidence was like one of the first huge things. At least when I was undercutting myself, I knew it. So that was huge for us.
we were new parents then too. And when we would bid out a job and you would see that like our crew is going to work here for 2 weeks and we're only going to make $900 like net profit, like we'll never be able to do anything off of this. Like we have to charge and recoup everything. You know, we're driving old beat up trucks. Our trailers are busted. Like, you know, the ditch witch that we have, you have to put a whole 5 gallons of hydro fluid in it every day.
Oh yeah.
You know, like that just wasn't sustainable. So that's probably like the turning point of when we saw it. It's like, we'll never live the life that we want to live without making change.
I know we're going to talk efficiency here in a minute, and I know you guys are efficiency nut jobs now, Caleb and Brittany. You guys built a beautiful shop the last couple of years. If I was answering the question for you based on what I know of you guys as a friend and as a fan, it's efficiency outside of, you know, your numbers. That's like, it seems like 2 oars in the water for Auman. I know we're going to get to that here in a second, but I love what you guys said about presenting a bid with confidence, because we talked about that on was it Tuesday with Murray on day one.
Yep.
And when somebody's like, hey, can you guys do the patio for 15 grand instead of your quote for 20? And well, the other guy, you know, is going to do it for 15. Brittany, how have you now handled that question or that conversation differently now?
I tell them they should definitely take that price and go with the other person.
Sure. Caleb, you're the salesman here. How does that go? We'll put the salesperson
to sell the job. Yeah.
PR is over there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's what I mean. It's always, first and foremost thing is like the right ideal client is huge, right? And that's for us finding clients that aren't going to do that to us for starters, and not always the opinion I had and the cojones to do, but finding clients that aren't going to be shopping us out. That's first. Now, if we still end up in that scenario, which we do once in a while, it's always, the your standard thing of, are we apples to apples? But again, that's why we want to be pricing off of an actual landscape plan and design, which we mandate now. But it's always, well, okay, we can do the job for, 15, but we cannot offer this extra, element to the job, be it the 10 trees out back or whatever. And so, back in the day, it would be like, well, how can I shoehorn this job into that price or at least close to it? And then as we got more confident, and this is something that comes with, I don't want to say tenure in business, but like that comes with time in business. You get more confident, you get more bold with being able to say no to work or walk away from work. Paver King says you make the most you make the most money on the jobs you don't take. And it's jobs like that you don't take, you're probably going to be better off for not taking too. Unless you're trying to build a portfolio, I understand that grind too. But that's a big part of it, is being willing to a point to walk away, because you finally know this job is actually going to cost me money. And I think Pat said it the other day maybe it was the other day, or maybe another webinar Pat was in, but he was saying like, if I don't charge the right price for this and we don't get the right profit margin, I'm literally stealing from my family. And would my family be okay with this? And even the team, we're taking from the team when we decide or agree to do jobs at lower profit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love what you guys are talking about with the sales, the estimating, the pricing, the confidence. It's a skill set and a process all of us go through and still are going through, right? And I know we've all had some massive breakthroughs the last couple of years with a lot of this conversation, being at these webinars, seminars, conferences, right? Talk to me. Let's pivot here. Sam, do you want to take it away with this one? I know
I will.
you're
One of my
championing this
favorite
conversation.
This is one of my favorite
This one has Sam's name on
conversations.
it.
Is the waste is something that obviously I have literally kind of growing discernment and wisdom to just automatically like seek it out. And one of the things that I've learned is, if it was as easy as just looking at a P&L and going, oh, we're wasting there, we're wasting there, we're wasting there, let's fix it, then again, life would be much easier, right? But Caleb, I'll talk to you for a sec here. What are some things that you see that are waste in a business that doesn't necessarily show up as a line item on a P&L? Like I said, if it was that easy, everybody would just look for where we're losing. But what are some waste items that you see? And I'm gonna take it one step deeper. Besides inefficiency loading in the morning, like that's like the loadout seems to be
Man,
like
that's so much time.
it's so much time. So like, spoiler alert, if you're like, oh, I needed to hear that. We all know that. Stop, load at night. We've been talking about on the last 44 webinars. But aside from that, like, what are some things? I could talk about this forever, but I'm just here to ask questions. So I want to hear it from you guys. What are some things that you see that are waste items that don't necessarily show up right in front of your face on a P&L?
Well, I witnessed this the other day, and again, folks, we're not perfect, and we're not a perfect company. We have our own problems, right? So, witnessed this the other day on a project. We have developed a specific like plant carrier device. This unit to carry a bunch of 3-gallon plant container.
You need to totally drop a picture of that and tag us in it somehow. I want to see this thing.
It's like a sheet. Imagine a sheet of plywood with just the capacity for a skid steer to be able to pick it up with forks.
That's
cool. So we can put like 20 some 3-gallon shrubs on here at one time. Well, for some reason, we had plants loaded up on this thing, and they got hand unloaded onto a trailer, hauled to the job site, and then hand unloaded off and hand carried across the job site. And like, what I'm working on as a leader is how to not lose my marbles when I see that kind of stuff. Cause like, that's all I see. And when you start looking at things like this, you immediately have to go to like personal development training class to understand how to communicate, how this is important in a way that guys will understand and why. Because I'll frankly tell you, I did not do a good job. I was like, what are we doing here? Like, this stuff exists for a reason. Well, yeah, I really handled it poorly, frankly. But dude, just double handling material. Like, how can we find a way to just handle stuff less. We have a thing called the Ohio method that Ohio can take credit for as much as you Northerners dog Ohio. Only handle it once.
Go blue.
Ohio method. We want to handle things as little as possible, be it container shrubs. I don't, you know what? I'll tell you, I had a buddy of mine that went from using bagged salt to buying bulk. He's like, man, Caleb, you're right. I thought it was just being a sissy, finally breaking down and going to get bulk salt, but breaking down pallets and throwing them in my spreader all winter, that is really inefficient. I'm like, I know, man, we got to stop handling stuff. Just little things like that will just eat you alive. And it's just always a constant process, but really work on how to communicate that effectively to your team, because you will burn your team out always preaching at them.
So that's a great
killer.
Oh yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
It's another quick killer is when you're on a site, like a design build site, walking back and forth to the truck over like, oh, I forgot a hammer. Oh, I need to go get the saw. And so we built tool cages. And so the guys pick it up with a skid steer. They take everything back to the backyard. We don't go to the truck other than for lunch.
So that's a great point. So both items there, in my personal opinion, professional opinion, I will say, would be those are crew problems. So like guys not utilizing the tools that we're setting you up for all the success you need, right? So like the tools are right in front of you, the resources are right in front of you. Use them. Got it. That makes sense. We're trying to dumb it down as much as we can here. But let me ask you this: how often do you see waste as a leadership problem and not a crew problem?
Oh,
well, I would argue all waste is a leadership problem for starters,
sure.
right? Because how we communicate it, you know that, Sam. I know you know that. But sorry, my mic stand's falling off the table here, so I'm gonna have to hold it up. What I would say, if I'm understanding the question correctly, is I mean, if I'm understanding the question correctly,
where we as the leaders are not setting our crews up for success. I'll give an example because it's always, you can piggyback off of it. But I went to a project that we started on Monday, and I walk in the backyard and the crew walks up to go over kind of the 2D plans, because I love how you said it earlier. Every job gets a print. No more like, take a photo, run it through AI. Everything needs a print. And so the crew walks up with the jacket, and he's got the 2D printed off on 8.5 by 11. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm literally, squinting my eyes to see the dimensions, right, for this patio. And I literally called our director of ops and said, dude, why are we not putting a 24 by 36 on the back of the house that the crew's right in front of him? And he goes, well, you send it over as an 8.5 by 11. I said, never again will I do that. Thank you. Then and you don't know what you don't know. And so that, in my opinion, is a me problem, right? Yes, it's all a me problem, but that's something where, like, why did the crew never say anything to me? But they're just like, well, it's the way Sam sent it to me. I'm just going to use it that way. But anything else like that, that's a us as a handoff kind of thing that you guys see that we miss.
Yeah. Are we muted? We good?
You're good.
Okay. Sorry. So another example, and I did this the other day, is in LMN, we also print out the, I print out in the, it's in the, let's see here, in the reports section. I'm trying to think which report, classic reports maybe, but it's job proposal, no price, install details, no pricing. And that is like all the man hours, all the material.
One of my favorite reports.
Stuff. Yes. Yeah, and that gets printed out and sent with all the crew, anytime they go out. And I didn't send that out with one of the guys. But one of the great things about that too is the guys see what the client is also reading and getting as far as an understanding of what's going on with the job. Aside from our tailgate meetings and all that stuff, they read like what the client is told, as far as how the job was sold. And so I didn't send that out with one of the guys the other morning. And so they might not have loaded up everything there. And we got some seasoned guys that really know what is needed on jobs, but they might not have, taken everything they needed. I think a couple things did get missed. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't get them their packet. Shame on me. Now my designer and salesperson is awesome at that. Me, I'm not the greatest around here, oddly enough. I have people that are way better at a lot of stuff than I am.
Let's as we're talking about the slide that's in front of us here. I know we're already talking about this with some of the examples here. The estimated versus actual hours. That's something that Pat really hit on. Auman's. I love watching your guys' Instagram, and I live vicariously through my hardscape design build friends. I know that's not work that I'm going to be doing anytime soon, but I live vicariously through you guys doing it. A lot of great folks out there. And you guys show what is it, like the speedometer, the tachometer, right? Of like your estimated versus actual.
Red. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna say that.
It is not.
Um, but talk to me a little bit more like pre maybe LMN versus today and building that accountability into your crew with and educating them, Caleb, like you talked about. It's a different Auman landscape the last couple of years, but now you actually have the tools not only for leadership, like Sam was talking about, but for the team. So that's one of our points here, and I feel like you guys could hammer that one home big time.
I'll start, like
Mhm.
you finished. The guys can see in their dashboard where a job is at on estimated versus actual hours. And they
Through
clock,
their Element Crew app.
yeah, through Element Crew app. And that is really cool. And that is something I was stuck in this mindset of, oh, the guys don't care and, all this stuff. And some guys don't, and they're not the right people to have on board. But uh, the guys will see where they're at with hours on the jobs, and it's cool to say, hey man, we're not going to hit these hours. What are you talking about? And well, why is that? Well, first off, it goes backwards. Caleb didn't have a pre-construction meeting with these guys to really talk through this job and how we can get it efficient and effective. But they really are looking at the crew app now, and they're paying attention to jobs, and it is. And we still got a long ways to go on how to really get this dialed in, but the guys are paying attention to their job hours, and it's something I didn't think was a thing, and it was just me limiting myself and the company. So
I would encourage every one of you that are not utilizing your scoreboards to picture this. Imagine one of the biggest things I know for me, I struggle with this as a recovering people pleaser, is having to deliver the bad news. I just don't. I prefer to not do it, right? But sometimes you
You
got to
seem
do it.
like you'd be bad at that. Yeah.
I'm not a bad news delivery guy, but picture this. You've got a TV screen that's got the real-time analytics of how things are going right in front of people. So now imagine when your crew comes to you and says, "Hey boss, the reason that this happened was this." Like or hey, we did really good on this, but you can actually say what you need to say by not saying anything at all. And I mentioned this in the episode yesterday, that we recently we went through our acquisition at the end of last year, and so during that process we kind of shut the scoreboards off for a few months and went through a super busy winter. And like about a month ago, we kind of turned everything back on. And it's wild how people just like clam up and they get all defensive. And it's like that's kind of what you want. Like you don't have to say anything. They just know, like, hey, why did we bid the job wrong? Were we inefficient? Were the materials not priced correctly? Like, we don't want to have to deliver that. So like the debriefing is all you're doing is just reviewing what's up there, right? And throw a plug in there for LMN. The scoreboards are unbelievably awesome. So
yeah,
I,
just even what our guys can
They
see,
can't see that.
they
Just
can't
don't
see
worry
that.
about
I was
it.
going to show the dashboard on my phone, but okay, Brittany says no. Never mind. Sorry, I nerd out with this
So,
stuff, man. I love it.
like all of our so the debriefs are really what's helping us become, like Brian said, more efficient, more
yep,
system,
you got to
fixing
talk about
things
it.
one day at a time, right? If you fix one thing every day, you have 365 things that are better at the end of the year.
Amen. The goal in a debrief is not to blame. The goal is
Right.
to learn. It's not a blame, it's to learn. What and from you guys from doing this now and getting kind of the muscle memory there, in your guys' opinion, what does like a bad debriefing look like? Where it's like, oh, we got to share this news.
You know what? Everybody knows that it sucked. You don't like everybody already knows what happened. Everybody knows we were over hours. They saw it in their Element Crew app.
Or do they? They do in your business.
They do in our business.
Audience, do your people know when something didn't go well? And the only reason they know is because of your attitude.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And so we've really focused on clarity this year. Like clarity is our word of the year for the
Clarity
company.
is kindness. We're bringing it back, Brian. We're bringing it back.
Mhm.
So clarity is what we're focusing on. And when the guys understand what their goal is and what we're working towards, the debriefs aren't bad. Like they're not like something that everybody dreads. Everybody wants to help solve the problem. They want
Like,
to tell us. They want to tell us what we've done wrong. And I
give
want
me
them to
give
tell
me
me
a
that.
give me a specific, Brittany. Like if you guys are debriefing on a job that went bad, what give me a recent conversation.
Okay, so if we had, say we had a job last year that we installed some steps and some stone needed installed like underneath a deck. And what happened is our crew installed it steps first and then the stone under the deck, which didn't allow us to get the equipment up there to do it. So they had to hand shovel river rock under this deck way over hours. And so we're like, okay, like that sucks. But then I talked to the estimator and it's like, hey, like, were you thinking that it would happen in that order of operations or were you thinking something else? He's like, well, no. He's like, I assumed they would put the rock under first and then go through and put the slab steps in. Like, okay, here's the problem. And
Right.
so then we had to make, like, everybody understood where everybody was coming from. Nobody was mad. Like, it sucked, but nobody was mad because there was understanding of, like, everybody wanted the project to turn out nice. Everybody just had two different ways of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, like, when we have things like that, I'm always asking our salesperson, like, hey, did you make sure you explained to the guys, like, you intended on this part, this part to go first, or this needs done last, or, whatever it is. We're just trying to constantly improve that communication, which creates more clarity on site, which makes us more efficient and helps avoid some of these problems. But
Brittany, can you walk us through your five whys? I don't want to skip over that. And I know like our slide time is limited. Can
yeah,
you give us like a 1 minute version of the 5 whys?
so the 5 whys, I hope a lot of people have heard it by now, but the 5 whys, if you ever want a solution to a problem, or you want to know what happened, you want somebody to answer their own question, ask 5 whys. So for example, we'll say the crew was slow and Caleb says the crew was slow today. I'm like, okay, well, why was the crew slow today? And he's like, well, they took longer than we thought. They took longer than we estimated. Okay, well,
Why
did they take longer? Like, well, because our production rate was wrong. It's like, well, why is our production rate wrong? It's an element. It should be right. Well, it's because we didn't account for the apprentices that we hired 2 weeks ago. We thought it would be all trained like technicians and foremans, but now we have green labor that has a lot of learning to do, so it slowed us down.
Why?
Well, right. But why did it slow us down? Well, because our training program is not up to par. And
There we go. That
not
took 6, by the way. That took 6. I'm telling you, but you got to keep going.
But not everybody has made it through all the greenius training.
Yep.
And
Why?
so they just don't know. And so whose fault is that?
Why?
Well, Sam, that's my fault. But you know what? I guarantee if you ask your team this, and you get to the 5th or 6th why, you will be at the end of that rope.
They say by 7, by no more than 7, you're there. And then finally at one of them, somebody will go, dude, I just suck. Like, dang, that only took 3. That was quick.
That's literally what I just said. Like, that was me. So I really encourage you guys, if you're having trouble with your team, let them answer it, work out this with them, but 5 whys, and you'll get to the solution to a problem.
In addition to your sticky note that says don't have to do archaeology, make another sticky note on your computer that says why.
Why?
It says why.
We need to get shirts made up and Grandin can brand them, like I'm the problem, like I'm the problem. So all right, well, let's keep the conversation going, guys. Quick note, guys. Let's shake it up a little bit. I know we've been sitting for about 45 minutes. Stick with us. We got another 10 or 12 minutes, and then we're gonna get into Q&A. So if you guys are enjoying the conversation, and if you guys do have any specific questions, throw it in the chat, throw in the Q&A chat. We'd love to keep the conversation going. It's almost Thursday. I saw everybody's favorite day of the week apparently is Friday, which is exciting. I'm right there with you. So stick with us. Let's keep it going. But we're talking about how to read data without the jobs getting buried. Sam, this is all you. I know, again, another hot topic for you to that you're passionate about for sure.
Yeah, and this is actually something that, I mean, literally, we're all of our processes are written in pencil because we're always trying to get better. And we actually just literally yesterday coined a new slogan. So if you guys are making sticky notes, our new slogan is no punch list. No punch list, because punch list kills your metrics. So we keep going, hey, have a good day, no punch list, because punch list means, hey, why is it a punch list item? What got missed, right? So we're literally trying to open up more and more like morning 5-minute debriefings of like what needs to get done today. And so, just reading off the slide here, how to read job cost data without getting buried. Like, number one, a lot of times the reason the crew is not hitting that $270 an hour or whatever that number is because they really don't know what the expectation is. And maybe your quality is so high that because they're taking as much time as they want, but because there's not a metric there, we used to, before we went to one hardscape crew, we used to run two hardscape crews, and they were like oil and water. One of them was so meticulous. His miters were flawless. I mean, won numerous awards. Our other crew was like, we would call them a bone saw versus a scalpel. So like the scalpel crew was precision, like on point, super quality. The other crew, I would argue that he could build it, make mistakes, rip it out, and fix it faster than the other crew. And when we started to really, really get into scoreboards about 5 years ago, that precision crew, he made it about a month and he ended up resigning because he did not like that there was a little screen on his phone that told him how long he was going to have to do something. And he wanted him, and you know what? Like, bless that guy's heart, but you can't, if somebody can't lead up and lead down, right? They can't lead from the middle, then you can't put somebody in that position. But we could talk about this one right here forever, but just having the data in front of them where they know on a daily basis. I love it before they leave the yard. So if you're talking for 5 minutes, hey, today we're going to get the front plantings done. Hey, today we're going to get all of our excavation done. If you're putting a patio in, whatever that looks like. But the three numbers, 20 minutes every single job for you guys, because I don't want to make it all about me, Brittany and Caleb. I want to turn this back on you guys. What are like the three numbers for you guys that you feel that the crew needs to know before they leave the yard every day?
First and foremost, I always want them to know labor hours, what we have left, and are we going to hit that? That's a question we ask every single day. Are we on track for today? What do you need from me to make the rest of the job go well? They don't really know gross profit. We let them know gross profit. We keep that up to date. That's another number that we track. And is there any other numbers that you let them know before they leave the yard?
No, the gross profit thing, we are working through that and communicating why that is important. And we've exposed that more this year than we ever have. And the guys are actually more receptive to that yeah, it's $100,000 project, but it's not 90 grand in my bank account kind of thing.
Yep.
That age, be it $1,000 job, and your guys see you get a check for $1,000 and they were there all day with you, and you walked away with $1,000 and they walk away with 100 each or 200. That age old situation. But we're making sure they see invoices and $5,000 fuel bills, and we're making sure we're talking through that, and we have meetings where we're going through the element budget and showing what our overhead costs are and what rent and mortgage is and all that. So they have a really good understanding. And most of our guys actually have company credit cards, so they buy a lot of stuff. So they see what the cost of stuff is. And that's huge, helping them understand why gross profit is important in these jobs.
Yep. When you guys first turned on your scoreboards, you heard what I mentioned about my guy that couldn't take he hated it. Did you guys get any pushback from your crew when you first started to talk about how long this stuff takes, and how did you guys kind of work past that?
We have an entire team practically comprised of blue personality types. So it's your guy there that hates being put under pressure.
Yep.
And so we struggle with that all the time, frankly, because the red was your bone saw guy, right? He'll tear it all out and fix his mistakes while the blue guy's still planning, right? Yep. The blue guy gets it all done first try right. Bone saw guy, he'll fix it 3 times still in the same amount of time. There's a place for all types like that. But we do struggle with that with all blues on our team. It's kind of interesting. Anyhow, I digress. Continue, Britt.
It wasn't received well. It was actually pretty much ignored when we first.
Yeah, and you don't. I'd argue to not talk about hardscape, but even in the maintenance world, we do whatever. Oh my goodness, a bonus on our lawn maintenance guys performance pay. And so this has been a fine line because we lost a massive HOA contract this year that said that the reason they got rid of us was because they thought we weren't spending enough time there, like for what the contract was. It was a big account. It was a hard loss. And ironically, doing a little bit of forensics and some archaeology, that crew leader had the highest performance pay of any other crew. Like, he killed it on his man hours. And so there has to be a fine line with the efficiency between the quality and the quality and also production. Like, there's a balance there. Brittany, do you know like what a healthy range would be, like when you're looking at the efficiency side as far as the crews go?
For design build, we aim for 80%.
80%. Okay. I know I probably
the
jumped
day.
ahead there. I think that's another slide that we have. I probably jumped ahead, but I know that that's one of the questions for job costing, 80% efficiency.
There you
And
go.
what that means is that our guys are spending 80% of their day on site producing revenue. 20% is spent driving, loading, unloading, doing all the other things that are not going to the box stores to pick up parts that you don't have at the shop. All of that is in that 20%, but we need them productive on site for 80%. And when they're clocking in and out, they can see for the day if they're at 74% or 78% or 52%.
This is literally like Brian talked earlier about checking the oil on the truck in the middle of the season. This right here, your crew efficiency score, that's like the check engine soon light in your business. Like that's the thing that goes, there might be a problem here. Has there been something for you guys that by having that crew efficiency score, how quickly can you guys like identify a problem on a project or on a crew by that number like ebbing and flowing, or does yours stay pretty consistent, or what does that look like for Auman?
When we started tracking that, when it came out, when it was a new release from Element, I started watching it each day, and some days were really good, some days were really bad. It just kind of varied. And so I actually harvested all that and put it in an Excel sheet and put it up on a board. And I explained to the guys, like, hey, what's going on? We're spending an hour at the shop in the morning. We're 45 minutes in the evening. You know, like this day, it says that somebody went to like the big box store, like so many different pieces and parts. What I have learned as a leader is if I take that information and share it with the team and empower the team to see what's going wrong, it's not doing me any good to keep it in my office and look at it and just be mad all the time. They want to change it and they want to make money just as much as we do. And so when you guys start tracking this and when you start learning what these numbers are and what they mean and how to use them, it's like, okay, like the guys understand why it's so important they get out in the morning. They understand why it's so important to load up in the evening. They understand why we have so much inventory and it's important when you tell me you're out of paver glue. Yep. Those things get you to the $270 an hour.
Boom diggity. Boom diggity. Go ahead, Brian.
I got one from Tina. She got commented a minute ago. She said, as our estimator for 15 people, I'm brutal asking questions. If the information is not precise, the estimate can't be done. Yes, I'm not popular, but it starts at estimating with a precision that is frustrating for some. And I have to do it at times, which let the crew leads know what they need to do for the job. 40 years in the field. So true. And again, like Sam said, put the information out there for the whole company. You know, let them know. We're so transparent and open book with so much of that what we do. Like your team needs to know, you know, and that way everybody's rowing in the right directions. Brittany,
if you explain it to your team though, don't be afraid of sharing information. Yep. Most of the time, any disgruntledness they have with you is because they don't understand. They think you're making $1 million. When you're willing to show them like, hey, I got a $5,000 fuel bill yesterday. And it's not like, I don't say things like that or do it to make them feel whatever. But I want to show them what we're going through too. I want them to understand that I'm not here to just build a big house. Like I hear
people, and I know we're getting short on time, but I want to park on this slide for one quick second because there's something here that of all the bullet points, I'm not going to read them all, but I want to park really quick at the gross profit versus actual and why that's so important. I know a lot of, not a lot, but there's business owners in this grouping that are like being open and honest with their P&L, like actual accounting P&L. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like the transparency, clarity is kindness, like nothing wrong with showing the numbers. But what is so important about the gross profit is gross profit are the things that your crews, or if you've got layers of management, those are things that they control. And what happens and what tends to be more fun, and I see this a lot, I even see this in our business, is, you know, we started sharing a P&L, and when you look at like your top, if I'm zone out for a second, picture your P&L. If it's built right, you've got all your COGS up top, and that gives you a gross margin number. And I'd argue a safe number, 50% COGS, you probably got a pretty healthy business. But then there's all the things that fall below the gross margin line. And let's just say you put your fuel in overhead, your phone bills, your shop, whatever, all the things that are indirects from the job. Here's the thing. and I see this a lot, is people want to try to focus on them because you can beat up people without hurting people's feelings to save money for the company. Let me give you a quick example. Tires on a truck. You can call your Bell Tire guy and be like, "Hey, we're gonna go get tires from this place because we're gonna save $40 a set." And now all of a sudden you just saved money for the business. Well done. The reason why that is because people are afraid to look at the scalpel items. We talk scalpel versus bone saw. Scalpel's your gross margin. Nobody wants to go to a crew that's sweaty, dirty, tired. They got problems at home. They're barely paying their bills and go, "Hey man, these jobs are sucking." So what happens is we want to look at these overhead items, and there's nothing wrong with shaving those things too. But I feel like that for us as owners, that's the stuff we should be working on. The gross profit items, even though, yes, if you want to share your full numbers, nothing wrong with that. But say, "Hey guys, how can we get better up here? Is it a pricing problem? Is it a training problem? Is it an efficiency problem?" And I see this so much that people are like afraid to attack those things. But that's where typically the lost time in the yard, the lost time at the dump where guys are, shooting the breeze with another company and all that, that all can be found in the top of that. So that gross profit, I cannot stress it enough to be keeping an eye on that and be sharing that and talking about that with your crews.
Brittany, any final thoughts on that? We're going to have you guys wrap this up and own the last two slides here. I know the one that we just skipped over is what Sam was referring to, but anything that sticks out specifically with Auman, as you guys have tightened up, the operation, because again, Pat gave us our production rates, where we need to be. Mike was helping us out with what we need to do to fix the operation. But Brittany, as we kind of wrap up, anything else that sticks out to you with work that you guys decided to start selling, work that you guys decided to stop selling, again, to get to some of these numbers and to really give the team, the best opportunity to grow?
Do you have something to say about this?
He asked you, but I'll take one thing. One, I do want to make sure this does get out there. The key to RPH and high RPH is going to happen no matter what, right? RPH, revenue per hour, is going to happen no matter what, whether you ignore it or you track it. So, phase one or step one is knowing RPH and what your goal revenue per hour is. And then two, kind of to distill it down to the most simple form, is figuring out ways to just plain get more work in the ground or figure out how to mow one more lawn a day. What can we cut out to allow us to do nothing but our craft? What can we cut out that allows guys to be on site longer or to be mowing one more acre a day or whatever your metric is there? We just have to constantly be cutting out waste to get more work on the ground. Brittany, go ahead. Sorry.
The last thing that I know we talked about discussing real quick was the service mix decision. And we touched on this earlier in the presentation. When we started, we were startup, we wanted to be the only contractor at a client's house. We wanted, if they needed gutters cleaned or something power washed or a putting green installed, anything that we didn't have experience doing, we said yes, because we didn't want to risk somebody else taking any more work. We were on the hustle.
That's why we called Atlas outdoor, because if it was outdoor, we would do it. We'd paint it, wash it, anything outdoor that would give us a check, we're doing it.
It's also a scarcity mindset too. That's a mindset shift as well.
It is so good.
So doing all those things was taking us away from being more profitable doing other work. And when we started to look at that, we looked at, what were our top 10 projects that weren't making money? Where did we make the most money? And you can just do simple math for that. It doesn't have to be a fancy job casting screen. Literally just start with labor and materials. Just start there and see where you're at. We found out that not everything was worth offering. We limited it down to design build, landscape installations, stormwater management. There's a lot. Drainage isn't sexy, guys, but there's a lot of money in drainage. So if you need
and a niche, very niche thing of turtle removal from a drain pipe. Brittany's a big fan of me taking that on for a client. A little niche.
We haven't learned everything.
We can land it at this as we go to the Q&A, Brian, because I know we're at time here. But not all revenue is created equal.
Correct.
Not all revenue is created equal.
I think Bradley said once at a conference recently, sell profit, not just revenue.
So good.
It might even be another way to look at that. Folks, this is good. I've seen the evolution of Kayla and Brittany and their story, and it's worth following. I know we're going to plug some slides. But Caleb and Brittany, if you guys are comfortable with it, I've tried to do this with all of our speakers because we got a lot of folks asking some really good questions. Some of them we're going to get to here in the chat. But if you guys want to leave your email or anything else where people can find you, while they're doing that, guys, throw your questions that you do have for Caleb and Brittany. I know some really good ones came in through here in a minute in the chat. A couple other ones are in the main chat. I'm going to make sure I capture those too for you guys. I see you. I hear you. This is awesome. As we're doing this, and the Aumans are throwing their information in the general chat, make sure you grab that email, reach out to them. These folks are on the panel this week for a reason. So if you guys are jammed up or stuck or trying to implement certain things here or want a little bit more granular answer on some of the things they were alluding to, give them a shout. They can help you guys out with that. As we go to the next slide, I just wanted to obviously quickly mention, if you guys want to do a demo with LMN, we've got some folks from the LMN team joining us here. Again, the saying is the best software is the one that you use. We all just happen to, obviously be drinking the Kool-Aid here, and LMN's been fantastic for all of us. But at the end of the day, use something that works for you. And again, as I said on a couple of the other shows, no shame, no shame. If you don't know, all good, admit it. Let's start learning and let's start that process. Caleb, that was a fantastic line. Like, we're all doing RPH no matter what, right? We all have this system, the pseudo system to run our businesses. But let's continue to dial it in. So book your demo, check it out, and I promise you the folks from the LMN team, they don't bite. In fact, they're going to buy you lunch, so your team can go bite into maybe a Jimmy John sandwich, right? There you go. All right.
Brian, I'm going to disagree with you, man. They're not all softwares are equal or the same, man. LMN is like almost the only one that combines CRM, budgeting, and estimating. Man, there's other ones. I wish I could say their name, but for professionalism, they don't do everything that LMN does. And if you want to know your actual numbers, LMN is the one to do. Like, there's just really hardly any alternatives out there.
We can land the plane right
there.
there.
They're not all the same. And so the one you're using might not be the right one, actually.
Well, Caleb, somebody said the other day, they said, can you imagine at this point, Caleb, I'll ask you, can you imagine at this point not running Auman Landscape with LMN?
Dude, I'd quit.
We wouldn't be in business.
We would quit the industry. You know what I mean? And we'd be electricians. Yeah. So there you go. I love that. I don't want to go too hard in the paint for it because you guys know that I'm all in, but I like what Caleb said as well. All right, let's do this really quick. Let's go back to we do want to mention one more time. I do apologize. We've got the Break Records tour coming up. So we're going to give away 2 tickets to the Break Records tour. So I think we're going to cue that up here in the conversation. As soon as I have that, we'll announce it. But I'll just let you guys know, Sam and I are spending a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of mental energy, like pouring into you guys all across the country. Dude, we were on tour a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, 72 hours together. I mean, 1,000 conversations. None of them ended correctly. We're just go. I think, Sam, we have 1,000 conversations going that we didn't finish. But guys, like, we can't wait to see you guys there. Come get the roadmap. Sam grew, scaled, sold, which I feel is the complete entrepreneurship cycle, right? So he's been there, done that. Sam's leading the class. I'm there to carry his bags. It's fantastic. We can't, that's a joke, but I can't wait to see you guys all there on the tour. We've got some great city tour spots across the country. So get your tickets, and let's do a really quick drum roll. What do we got here? Jason Schmidt. Congrats,
Jason,
winning a pair of tickets. That's fantastic. So we hope to see you
awesome.
One of the tour spots. All right, let's do this real quick. Sam, do you want to go into the chat really quick in the Q&A? You want to tee up one or two?
Let me open it. I try to keep these things closed because otherwise it
While you're doing that, Brittany and Caleb, quick selfish question. You guys were talking about blues and yellows, reds, greens, rainbows. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, what do you got? Personality types or color for your folks? What is all that about?
Part of our hiring process is a system now. Everybody takes a color personality test, and it's a free test. It takes like 10 minutes. Our assistant sends it out, and their folders are color coded with what the color they are, and you can learn about them. And
that makes sense.
Every year we have a team meeting, and it's like, okay, well, Keith is a blue, and Bo's a blue, and Travis is a yellow. And we're like, this is why he responds this way, and this is why you have to talk to him this way. And everybody jokes about it. Like, some people are more lovey-dovey than others, and it's actually a really fun meeting.
Awesome.
We need to look at that for Brian's Law Maintenance, because our process right now is like the black and white dots, but anyway, that's a joke.
I'll send you the link.
That's one of the insanity tests. But
let's get into some. We've actually got some epic questions in here. I'm going to kick it off. Joseph asked, and Brittany, Caleb, I'll let you guys take this. When do you guys feel is the best time to do a job debrief? Like, is it right after the job? Is it like the end of the week? Is it crew leaders only, whole crew? Walk us through like the timing and the who on a job debrief.
So we do a mini debrief every day at the middle of the day just to get a quick health check on the job. What's working, what's not working, what do you need from me tomorrow? So we're always trying to make sure we're prepared for tomorrow. Usually Caleb will talk to everybody at the end of the week just so we can get a final game plan for next week. And a lot of this is the accountability part. We're writing down these notes. The guys say they're going to have this done by the end of the week. We need to figure out if they're going to do it or why they're not going to do it. So it's constantly learning like that. The big job debrief we talk about internally, and then if necessary, we'll bring it out on a rain day and talk to everybody about it. But there's just little constant pieces of information.
And we need to add a 3 p.m. meeting badly. So
I agree.
Going the next morning, we're seeing that being a problem. So we got to add a 3 p.m.
We're bringing back the 4 o'clock 4 on our end, or we've brought it back. Like just that end of day.
The 404 is
404 is
to
good.
bring up. Yeah.
Here's another really good one here. I don't want to skip past these because I only got a couple more minutes here. What are 3 numbers that you feel that the crew should know on a daily basis? Like a daily basis number the crew should know before they kick off the day.
That's good.
Production hours, probably material variances, like what needs done, how many pavers need laid, what are expected, how many yards of mulch needs to go down, how many yards need mowed. A third one.
A third thing is not a number, but it's something I'm going to. You guys heard this in a podcast or something the other day, and but it was what does a successful day look like, and defining it by both parties. So it's not a number, but that would be my third metric.
You want to stump somebody? Ask them. Say, how do you know whether or not your day was successful? And it's crazy.
I heard that on yesterday's thing with you and Pat.
Maybe you did. Yeah. How do you know? Because so many people don't. I mean, literally, like it's a number. It's a great conversation piece. So I think that's good. So hopefully you guys got a little copy of that. One other one here, just is kind of more of a number one, but I think this is a good question. Talking about the revenue per hour, is that number based on billable hours, or is that is that 1,500 billable hours a year? Where does that number come from on the revenue per hour?
All time paid to a field staff employee. So if they worked 1,800 hours that year, that's going against the growth, that's the divisor for the gross revenue. So
all hours they're paid for
that are field staff, not office, field staff.
That's good. Makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And that's the kind of the top flow questions there. I think we can kind of land the plane with that. The only
one thing, Sam.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I want to clarify, Britt said 270 kind of happened. It did, but it didn't last year. Our goal was 220, and we had a really good year that we were very productive. We're putting tons and tons of effort into efficiency. I mean, tons of it. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment. I mean, it is all, like Brian called us, efficiency nut. Yeah, it's like a problem almost, maybe. But the goal this year is 240, I think. And again, if we end up higher, awesome. But we actually were aiming lower, and we did even better than we expected. But like somebody mentioned in the chat, what gets measured gets improved. And you can't even start hitting goals until you start measuring things and paying attention to stuff. So we actually ended up better than we did last year. I think we're going to eke out our goal this year. I don't think we're going to exceed it. I think we're going to hit 240 pretty handily. But that is one thing. It didn't just happen. It was intentional to hit a certain number, and we actually beat it. Hallelujah. But I did want to clarify on that. We had an awesome year last year, and we'll have a good year this year too.
That's good. Well, I just want to add one last thing there, that the companies that are winning, they're not necessarily the companies out there that have like the best crews, because that's always the easiest way to say it, right? Our crews are the best. I will argue that the companies that are winning are the ones that just learn faster than everybody else, because these jobs aren't getting any easier. Our crew production is not getting any faster. So the companies that are taking the time to look at these metrics, do the forensics on the job as quick as you can by the time when that job gets done, those are the companies that are going to be ahead in the long run, because your every job is a learning lesson, right? And so don't breeze over that.
Well, that's a very easy transition. I don't know if Sam set that up intentionally, but tomorrow is day 4, and we're talking 5S lean. So for all of you guys that are my lean junkies, I have become one, being part of the Auman community, hanging around folks like Sam, Caleb and Brittany, Mark Bradley. So Sam's going to be leading that conversation tomorrow. Absolutely make sure you guys come on back for day 4. It is going to be a fun question. And some of the our conversation and some of the questions that you guys have had this week that we haven't had time for. We're going to try to answer those as we go towards the tail end of the week. Last but not least, Kayla and Brittany, we just want to say a big thank you to you guys for joining on with us today, taking valuable time out of your guys' busy day. And I'm sure the crews are rolling back any minute now, so you guys got to run. But one last thing, as I always say, like, where can people find you? I know you guys are everywhere, but if folks want to catch up with you, where can everybody find you guys?
At Auman Landscape on pretty much all the platforms. Kid Contractor Podcast. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Awesome. And then
Sam,
guys,
and Sam.
there you go. Folks, book your demo with LMN and check out Greenius if you guys want to learn a little bit more about that. I know Steve's in here working the chat, which is awesome. And you guys, it's fantastic. We're all in on it, as you guys can imagine. And let's run some better businesses this year and make the second half of the season the best rest of the year ever. Amen. All right, fam. That's what we're going to do. Over and out. Thanks, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing everybody here tomorrow. See you guys.
See y'all mañana.